If you like my content, please like, share and subscribe. Hello everyone and welcome back to my new video. Today we will learn about loop in Python programming. At the end of this video, you will learn how to use loop, when to use loop, when to use which type of loop, and also about the list comprehension. So let's start. So what is loop in Python or in any other programming language for that matter? So many a times it might happen that you have to perform some given set of instructions in a repeated manner, in a repeated fashion. Okay, like you have a list of numbers, you want to print each element of that numbers list. For that you can use loop. Say you have this numbers list and you have 1 3 5 9 7 8 9, and if you have want to print the element of that numbers, you can access this by using the for loop. Syntax of this for loop is very similar to this, and you can say print I. Please note that this I have declared on the fly. Okay, so this will contain at least one numbers element at a given point of time. So for the first time when it will enter into this for loop, this I will be the first element because this execution happening is from left to right. So next time it will be 3. So if we see in a pictorial way, we will see that this is a dates list we have. So when I equals to 0, it will print the 1982, that is the first element, similar to printing 1982 directly. Now you have this 1 and 2. So this is exactly the for loop is doing. So it is iterating on this list and printing each element. So similarly we are doing it here. So this I is a element at a given point of time and I am printing that. So it will print the numbers, the elements we have in the numbers list. So I can say a colored list where I'll say this yellow, then blue and then green. Similarly you can use for say it's a colors list. I can say for color in colors, print my color. Yeah, I have to run this. So this is printing my colors, yellow, blue and green sequentially from left to right. Perfect. Now you want to use this for loop to print a sequential number from 0 to 10. Okay, so then you can use another numbers list and say 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, and similarly you can use this number again in numbers list and print this number, right? But what if you have to print 0 to 1000 or 0 to 10,000? Okay, for that are you going to create this numbers list typing 0 to 1000? No, right? For that you can create an object called range object. It's a function in Python which will allow you to create a range from a given set of start element until the end element. Okay, so you can say 0 comma 11, which will say that it will start from 0 and it will end at the last element minus 1, that is 10, and this range function will return a list. Okay, very similar to this list. So you can use this range function as a list inside for loop, and you can also print I. It will yield the same result. Okay, now by default range function uses 0 as the starting element. So if you have to print from 0, then you don't need to provide the first element as 0. So this is very similar to this. it will print from 0 to 10, right? But if you want to start from 3, then you have to explicitly mention what is the start element. So here you can say 3. It will start from 3 and it will end at 10, right? Very interesting, right? Yeah. Okay. So now you want to create a nested for loop. So what is nested for loop? So basically, if you have a for loop inside a for loop, okay, that will be a nested for loop. Now please notice that I have written this print inside for loop but not on the same level of for loop, right? Why? Because Python will understand that using, if I do this indentation, Python will understand that yes, this print is inside this for loop, not after the for loop. Okay, so at least some set of action you have to perform inside for loop, otherwise it will throw an error. Suppose this means that you are not performing anything inside for loop, you are just printing the print I outside the for loop. So here you will get an error. So if I try to see this in here and say, you'll see that Python is expecting an indentation after for loop. So this is the correct indentation. So that way Python will understand whatever you are writing on at the level of like this print, Python will understand that yes, it's inside the for loop. So let's say we'll do this. So you can say that it's printing all the thing inside the for loop. But if you want this outside, then you can see that it will print first all the element from 3 to 10, and then the last element, which is 10 plus 11, will also be printed here. Exactly. So this is the indentation. It is very important. So if you want to use a nested for loop, so you can say I in the range 5, and then you can say for each I you want to print j 3 times. Okay, so you can say this, and if you print I and j both, you'll see that for each I we are printing j 3 times. Each I we are printing j 3 times. Similarly for 4 also we are printing j 3 times. So this is the concept of in nested for loop, and you can nest any number of for loops inside this. But again, like it will have some computational heavy operations. So better to use as less for loop as you want in a nested format. Okay, great. So now we saw that this is for loop. We know that we can iterate through for loop using I variable, or in for that matter any variable. Okay, now what if we don't know when to stop the loop? What if we have to keep executing the loop until a certain condition is met? So for that you can use while loop. Okay, so say we have this years list which contains 1980, 1982, then 1988, 1990 and 2012, and you want to stop the loop once it hits 1990. So you can say while my years ith element of the years not equals to 1990, I want to keep on printing my years element, and I'll increase my index by 1, and I have to also specify this I equals to 0. So this is a difference in for and while. I have to explicitly specify this I because it doesn't take any index as default. So I have to do this. So as soon as it hits 1990, it will come out. So it will print 1980, 1982 and 1988. Correct? So using for, you can do that, but you have to, in that case, you have to use the break statement explicitly, because this while loop is only stop when this condition will false. But for loop, you have to specify explicitly that for I in for year in years, you have to keep on printing years here, and when the year is here is equals to 2000 1990, then break. So if this, then break, else keep on printing the year. So you'll see that this break is only happening inside the for, and we have to explicitly mention that it's a break, just come out of the loop. But for while, we don't have to do that. While will automatically stop when this condition is unsuccessful. Perfect. Now with this loop and list, there is a very important concept called list comprehension. Okay, so what is list comprehension in Python? Let's say now you have a numbers list which says 1 2 3 4 5. You want to create a new list of squares of each element of numbers list. Okay, so for that, what you can do is you can create an empty list of squares and then say for number in numbers, right, squares dot append number into number, right. So now if you want to see the square list, it is 149625. Perfect. But what if, and with this list comprehension now, you can use these 3 lines of code in just in one line. Okay, so this list comprehension is nothing but offers a shorter syntax to create a new list from an existing list or from performing some operations on an existing list. Okay, so for that, how to do that? You can use the squares list, squares new, let's say, and since you are going to construct a loop on a construct a list using the loop, you have to use this bracket. So this means that squares new will be a list. Okay, now what you have to do, you have to square the each element of numbers. So you have to loop through the numbers first, and you have to say that when we are getting the number, just multiply it with the number. Okay, so this is the basically element of the new list based on this loop of lists. Okay, so now if you see the squares new, it will yield the same result. Now you want to have you want to create a new list. Suppose you have a list called colors. You have this list yellow, and then blue, and then you have uh, violet. Okay, then you have green. Okay, now you want to perform some operations and create a new colors list where only you want to keep where we have the length of the color is more than 5. Okay, so for that, what you can do is use this loop color in colors, right, and you have to only say when if len of color is greater than 5, only those element I want to append to colors new. So this is the element. Based on this condition, it will keep on appending. So now if you see this colors new, you'll see that only yellow and violet came because these two are only having length of more than 5 characters. Perfect. So similar to this list comprehension, you can create dictionary as well using this shorter syntax. Okay, so let's say you have a list called fruits and you want to construct a new dictionary using these fruits, where you have the key of the dictionary will be the fruit name and the value will be the length of that fruit. Okay, so let's say this apple, banana, then we have kiwi, then we have date. Okay, right. Now, since you have to create a dictionary, we have to do this fruits dict equals to this. This bracket is very important. While you are creating this list, you have to specify this bracket. But since here you are creating this dictionary, you have to specify this bracket. And again, you have to loop through this fruit in fruits, and the key will be my fruit, and the value will be my length of fruit. Okay, perfect. So now if you see this fruit dictionary, you'll see that the key of that dictionary is apple, the length is 5, banana length 6, kiwi 4, date 4. Wow, perfect. So I hope you learned today about the loops, how to use which type of loop where, and about the list comprehension or the dictionary comprehension, that using the shorter syntax how to construct a dictionary or lists from an existing list. And in the next video I'll talk about function. Okay, what are the functions in uh, Python and how to use it. It's a very important topic. Stay tuned. Till then, goodbye, take care. Guys, if you like my content, please like, share and subscribe.